What's the word? It's your girl, Molly McCoy. Check out my new freestyle, Mind Your Business. You word? Molly, mind your business. Let's go. Big Bronx, you already know my vibe. Came a long way, used to be Mookie from the block. Better think first for ya talk hot. No, I don't throw subs, but I will throw shots. I had to tell these mind your business. You know my name, hold weight, no fitness. Keep it still to your grill, no dentist. Don't say much, cause these be snitches. Chase hit my line and said, go dumb. I said, chill, you know I do for fun. Be casting over little, don't run. Real New York, you ain't know I had the gun. Chill mode ever since I had my son.
Hey! My creators, what's going on? You already know in the Hago. It is the neighborhood Ruger Spread, the social dweeb himself, Reem'o Meerak. We are here for another edition of Cuts. You know what the Cuts stand for. Culture, urban, technology, and sports. Now, my creatives, this is episode 105. Episode 104, I introduced you to the production assistant and talent booker, Sherry B. Listen, man, we had a great convo. It just went in. We shot the shits. I think we touched on a little bit about love and everything like that. It was kind of a funny episode. But I definitely want you guys still check in on that. This is episode 105. Nonetheless, we got to go into story times. I ain't going to front. My careers, you know, with the hot streak, with the Ruger Spread himself, really on a real hot streak. I've been going to top tier events, meeting great people, networking. Nonetheless, guest here really networked off the rip. Was at the Nasdaq and 300 Entertainment event. They were it was a great conversation between Kevin Liles and Reverend Al Sharpton. What a dope event. If you are a Black creative and you were there, you were part of history. It was great. It was amazing. It was refreshing to hear, you know, as you know, we're in a not weird space with Black creatives. It's more, for me, I feel it's more blurred line, but what my guests will definitely going to talk about. Nonetheless, I have known, published, award-winning writer, Jordannah Elizabeth from Baltimore, Maryland, son, in the building. What's good, son? The Wire, son.
Be more.
What's good? How you doing?
It's more than the Wire, but I'm doing good. How are you?
No, right, exactly. Great seafood downtown in Baltimore, goddammit. Of course.
We got Wire, seafood, what else?
You got the Orioles, all that. You got the Ravens, all that.
I went to an Orioles game recently, playing the Nationals.
Oh, okay.
We won too. We won.
Listen. It's good to go to a baseball game and the team wins. Trust me. I've been to a couple Yankee games over here. And when they lose, it is a bad feeling taking that long train ride back to your crib. But no, nonetheless, I'm definitely glad you're here. I've checked on you a little bit and everything. Definitely love what I checked on, and as well as, you know, just the greatness of how you approached me, you know, and everything like that. And we networked and we bonded, and you know, I definitely want to touch on that. You know, in today's episode, I just want my creators to really take heed and understand the importance, the huge importance of backing up after you network. It is very huge. It is very huge. You know, let's say I don't back up with Jordannah. I don't know if this interview even happens. You know what I'm saying? But thank God I did, and thank God she did, and we're here. So nonetheless, Jordannah, just off the rip, let's get right into it.
Yeah.
What is your take or your insight of the media space for Black creatives? Take us into what you really feel, and then we can do the vanilla stuff of knowing the background and everything. But I just want to get right into it because that's been a thing that I've been wanting to like really touch on with other media creators for a long time. So let's definitely get into it. What's your take on the space or the level of media for Black creatives?
Yeah, I started in the game like 10 years ago, and it was very different. There were very few of us in media, in alternative genres outside of R&B, hip hop, and even in the R&B hip hop worlds, you have, you know, editors who were white running hip hop magazines and all that. No shade, no shade. And it's a different world, and it's funny. That day that we talked at the NASDAQ event, I was gonna walk out early. I was gonna leave, and I was like, no, Jordannah, you're gonna network today. And it wasn't even the word. It was that. So this is my answer to your question. I live in a little bit of an independent freelance bubble. I write for New York Amsterdam News, which is a printed
Big ups,
newspaper
big ups, big ups.
everywhere. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you to Kristen Fain Mulroy, my managing editor. Been there almost 10 years. Next year will be my 10-year anniversary. And I really independently chase stories, and it's a real simple process where Kristen and I have our own language because of 9 years of work. And I get in assignments and kind of live in this a smaller bubble. I have done freelance work for Universal Records and other places, but it's usually remote. So, I don't know what made me come out. I think there was a lot of stuff going on in the world with women in the media.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that Megan Thee Stallion was on 300. No matter what the ups and downs were, I personally wanted to know, and this is a buzzword, but as a Black feminist writer who I consider myself to be, I wanted to know, how the label got Megan through and how Megan got herself through, of course, but, what was kind of, what did the support look like behind that? And so that's why I was curious. And also Kevin Liles is from Baltimore. He went to Woodline High School. I went to a high school where like our mascots were rivals. I'm not gonna like put my stuff out there and everything. So I was like, so there were just a few things, and the opportunity to see a fireside chat with Reverend Al Sharpton. It was just a cool event. And I'll be honest with you, intuitively, I just move by things intuitively. I don't really calculate, this is why I'm going to go to this event. This is why I'm going to, choose to maybe not go to this one. I think there was just something special about it. And I really didn't know much about the Electra merging until the night before. It just seemed like an interesting vibe. So, your original question, I'm going on a little bit, but yeah, the event was great. The food was great. It was not a weird vibe. It was actually really chill for kind of an upscale Black event. No snootiness, no drama. It was the perfect, it was the perfect balance.
Right.
Yeah, it was good energy. It was a good balance. So there was no awkwardness, which is very rare, at kind of these kind of intimate high. No, I mean, what do I know? You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just,
No, that's okay. I mean, if that's your interpretation, that's fine. But definitely.
What do you experience? Do you ever experience awkwardness, or is that just a weird?
I'll say this: in my 10-year career, as far as coming to media, transitioning from being an actor, I'll say this: it takes a lot for an event to be that, right? And what I say is, you have to pick you have to vet the right people. You have to vet the right venue for the right people to be in. Then on top of that, it's a lot of times, especially in New York media, I hate to go here where I'm going with it. They don't vet well. Okay.
Interesting.
They just don't vet. That's just my experience. They just don't vet well. You put everybody there because they have a platform, and then God forbid, you don't know the ones that respect the culture or respect the history of journalism, or for that matter, the history of media, period, to do the job accurately. So now you're finding yourself in Dutch. It's like, all right, make my impact as best as possible, or you have to trust the people that confirmed you to be not as snooty, or for that matter, be understanding and willing with your platform to make sure that things go smooth and not awry, right?
Yeah.
So that's the case in point. And for me with that NASDAQ 300, it was beautiful because it showed, okay, this is what an event is supposed to be. This is what it is. So that's what led me to my question. Because for me, I feel with media, especially in like the last like 3 to 4 years, it's not only that, media or New York media or any type of media across the nation, just lets any old body in. And listen, I'm not saying that people don't deserve a chance, but it's like, holy shit. Let's understand there's different levels of media that should be in and allowed. That just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I don't feel, especially in New York, I feel it's like less and less boundaries are happening because, oh, we need the content. And it's like, yo, but then don't complain when you let the floodgates open and you let every other fucking Joe Schmo in. That's not doing you justice. So at the end of the day, that's the reason why I asked the question, because a lot of us have been talking behind the scenes and talking like, okay, how can it be better? What can be done? Or whatever the case may be. But in the same token, it's still the end around, I hate to say the end around fuck shit at the end of the day. So you just got to make sure you and your platform or what you have are standing true. And that leads me to my next question with you. I'm definitely glad, you spoke on the insight. I definitely leads to my next question with you. Do you feel that a person that does journalism, right, doesn't matter freelance or is on a major publication, it's a two-part question. Should they have knowledge of history of journalism? And then part B, when does integrity over clout make a difference? Take us into that.
Yeah. You really hit the nail on the head, because I was really thinking about what you were saying and how interesting and how honest you were being about vetting, and about integrity and about ethical. I work for a traditional news outlet. New York Amsterdam News historically is one of the oldest Black newspapers in the United States of America. W.E.D. Du Bois and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X have all written pieces for, it's a historic Black paper that you can find in the new Lee Daniels, Billie Holiday film, all of those things. So, and I've been there for 10 years, and I'm like the baby of the crew. It's called a legacy publication.
Right.
So I work at a historic Black legacy publication, and so I'm not really out there in the major digital space. I'm doing more print these days. And so with people vetting and being selective, I'm selective as well, because I'm not a social media influencer. My integrity and my name is really based on historical grounding and kind of in a different kind of clout.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A Black legacy clout. So I'm representing a history. So when I go into spaces, like 300 Entertainment, Reverend Al Sharpton is someone that's been covered by the paper over many years. And I represent my own voice. Anything that the paper has said, good or bad, I'm there. But I am about New York Amsterdam News, and they've been so good to me. And I just wanted to hear, I wanted to see legacy meets kind of a new legacy leader. I feel like 300 is definitely growing and definitely does have a great media, great digital platform. But I wanted to see those two minds kind of come together, and it was a historical moment. And I think that's why, I am going to cover it. I've got my transcripts of the talk, and I'm, putting it together. So a feature will come out soon.
Right.
But so your question about integrity and vetting. Yeah. I mean, I've written for Bandcamp, I've written for for full-on digital platforms, and it's totally fine. But I think that the editors and the people that are interested in bringing me in are not looking for 100,000, Instagram followers. I just don't know that world. I'm able to I published 3 books, and I have less than 1,000 Instagram followers. And I'm not really ashamed to say that. It's like, it's my, I feel like when I was young and I was coming up in the media game, I think, and now I'm like bursting my own kind of private bubble, but there is a level of mystery that I like to have as a part of me,
Right.
and a level of privacy that is as a part of me. So when I do get an invitation, I know people are serious about my work and about me, and not necessarily how many posts I have. So that's that level of integrity. People are looking for, someone, and I want to be careful about my terminology of authenticity, because you can be authentic, and have a million Instagram followers, but being that I am kind of low key, and that I am kind of, a print professional, there's a level of integral boundaries that I have. And even working as a journalist at a newspaper, ethics is very important. There are ethics and there are boundaries that I still live by in the media game. And people who, you don't got to call me old fogey or whatever. It's just the choices that I made as a Black woman professional, as a professional in general, the personal choices that I made. So it has really nothing to do with kind of new and old. It had to do with how I wanted to mold myself and how I wanted to present myself. And so, yeah, I thought 300 Entertainment was a nice mix. I could meet, influencers like you know what I'm saying? And everything is chill. And everybody was so nice. Everybody was so nice and approachable. And, let's go back to vetting, tell me a little bit, how you think that process goes down. And like,
I think first and foremost, for me, I feel if you throw numbers out, right?
mm-hmm.
Look at the transactional history as far as of projects that was done. Look at really look at resumes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Really break it down in levels, in tiers. One tier, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Or if you want to put it in 2 tiers. That's it.
Well, you have a structure to that. You got to.
No, I'm just saying because this is me analyzing the media game for 10 years that I've been involved. And I'm just like, yo, like half the time, motherfuckers don't even really understand it to that degree. And what I hate, and I'm not saying this is not really an era thing, like, oh, old era, new era thing, but it's like, yo, majority of you motherfuckers are coming, not you, but I'm just saying, majority of people coming into this, you don't give two shits a damn about the history or the value of it. You know what I'm saying? Like me, for example, right? Before I came to media and transitioned from acting, I studied Sway Calloway. I studied Angie Martinez. I studied Michael Basin. I studied Tori Star Terrain. I studied the Fab Five Freddy. I studied them.
Yeah, me too.
To understand, okay, how do I come about in media? How dare I come into this damn industry with a wherewithal or whatever, or a premise of, oh, they did it old way, I want it my way, screw them. And they paved the way for me and for many people.
Right.
Okay?
And why do it if you don't love it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're not studying the game, then what's the point?
That's what I'm saying. And I feel as a creative, even if you're a Black creative, right? Doesn't matter, Black creative, white creative, continentation pink, who gives two shits? You should be studying about this game. And that's what irks me so much about things in this era right now. And that's why shit is so much fucking blurred line, because majority of mofos, rather than wanting to take that type of vetting process or thereof, you just want everything to be fucking lit and fucking alliteration or thereof. And then God forbid, if that one publication fucking goes off the edge and screws over and covers this shit wrong, now you want to put everybody on that same fucking plateau. No, go fuck yourself. The one that fucked up should be the one that punished. You don't put everybody on the same boat, because there's different levels to this shit, and there's different levels of media platforms who actually fucking care. And the shit that's mind-boggling to me is, okay, I have Jordannah in the building, right? Well known for a legacy established publication. It may take a long time because you're not lit enough, and that's stupid. That's
Yeah.
Jack. That's Jack. Yo, that's
But
fucking.
see, I
That's
was
Jack
lit.
at home.
I was lit when they were kids, though. I was
No,
lit.
right, right.
I was in the club with purple hair, and you know what I'm saying, and you know, glitter high heels on and everything, all this stuff. You know, 10 years ago, I was, you know, so
Right. That's, I mean, to me,
I
it's
had
just
my.
batshit. It's just batshit fucking crazy out here. And then it's like, okay, so now let's say, okay, if they take the time to read your credentials, that's another fucking thing. It's like, yo, what do people want here? You want quality media to really cover this shit? Or do you want just a fucking whole conundrum of a fucking shit show that you let people in with the fucking floodgates? No, I'm being serious. Like, this shit is like batshit crazy and out of control. And it's not only in fucking New York. That shit happens across. But the thing is, people finally catch on like, oh, I know it. No, let's vet this real quick. We don't need every other media outlet in here. Let's get the ones that fucking matter, that put foots to necks, and really try to get to a resolution with shit.
Well, let's flip it around a little bit and talk to up and coming media professionals. You know, whether you want to write for the Times, whether you want to be in print, whether
Yeah, or digital. Yeah,
or you want to go digital. Like New York Magazine has a great digital platform, The Cut, and kind of all types of stuff. I read everything. But you can once I was gonna say once you get to a certain point, you can vet your events and all that stuff, sculpt yourself. And I think that's what I was saying 5-10 minutes ago. I know if you know that you're an introvert, if you know that you're a little more Issa Rae and you're just on your awkward Black girl situation. I don't consider myself to be awkward, but whatever. Sometimes. Anyway. But seriously, if you know things about yourself, and I think that's the number one thing, know thyself in the media game, because if you're going to be known for a brand and you're not going to be in control of what you get known for, if you're not conscious of what you're doing, and if you're not conscious of how you want to present yourself, it's not an act, it's not necessarily even a persona, it's who you want to put yourself around, what circles you want to be in, and your own value and where you want to go, and what you want to bring into your own sphere. You got to protect yourself, as a media professional, particularly as women, because now we've got people, with cameras. Now we've got people, recording conversations. And I'm not saying be paranoid. I'm just saying be aware of yourself. And even before you start to get into the game, get to know yourself. And the question is, how do you get to know yourself? Spend time alone. And that's the antithesis of being like a social, butterfly, right? But there's a balance, right? Get to know yourself, get to know who you are, read, study the game, get comfortable with yourself, because what you are is your brand. So if you're at the club one night and you're cutting up and I don't know, drink like 10, vodka and Red Bulls, and then the next day you're called Red Bull and you don't got no control over that. Oh, what's up, Red Bull? And then you're stuck with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying be paranoid. I'm not saying like all of those things. I just, I'm very honored and humbled, to be on this show. And I'm very honored and humbled to have the career that I've had, 3 books in the past year and a half. But yeah, I took a slower, it was a slower build, but the foundation of my career, I was looking for longevity, and we can tie that with legacy. I was looking for longevity in my career, so I didn't like get out there and kind of cut up. I started as a promoter and a booker, so I was out there, but I was throwing the parties. I wasn't, necessarily. I had fun. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's my whole spiel. Like, understand who you are and how you want to present yourself. If you really want to be that wild, fun-loving, kind of like street smart, crazy person, then be aware of that and understand, yourself and how you want to put that out, and how, you can't control how it's perceived, but,
Yeah, that's what's up.
That's
what's up. I'm glad you're touching that. In my careers, I want you to definitely take heed of what she was just stating. It's levels to this, but also too, it's always about the race. You know what I'm saying? It's always about the race at the end. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the start, it's about the finish. And as you get to the finish, it doesn't hurt to like really build upon that. So when you get to the finish, it's a better glory on your resume and on your legacy, and as well as the path that you trailblaze. So I'm definitely glad, Jordannah Elizabeth, you touched on that. Um, of your 10 years,
Yeah.
which one was your most trials and tribulations, and as well as which one do you feel you persevered the most?
Mm, good question. Good question. The beginning of my career was really hard. I was a musician and I was a model and I was out here, and again, that sounds contradictory to what I've been saying, but it's not. I made, my own choices, and I had some painful experiences, I'm starting my career without a manager, without an agent. Now, 10 years later, I'm good and I'm comfortable. But, I had some painful experiences, being a woman, coming up in the industry. And there were some inappropriate things that happened to me. And, it was a long time ago. And that's not me minimizing. But, I went to LA and I had to kind of start over. So I basically came up and put myself in a homeless shelter because I was just in shock from being
Wow.
sexually assaulted. And I stayed in a homeless shelter for 2 years, took myself up in the program, meaning, interned and kind of did little things and helped out and got onto this like top floor where you had more incentives and less roommates. And then uh, Schwarzenegger had this kind of program where anybody on EBT assistance could go to LA City College for free. And somebody at a women's day shelter told me about that. And I got into school. I put myself in school. Then the economic crash happened, and the labels did start calling too. It was a hard time because the economic crash happened, and I was very young, but I was also business minded, and I was like, well, this is not necessarily a good time, you know, um, to be signing all of the the funding and everything that was going in, was not, even at that time, and we could talk about hunger maybe a little bit later. I was hungry, but I also, again, was always kind of strategic in how much bandwidth I had and how much I wanted to take on. So I'm in this vulnerable position, and the economy's in a vulnerable position. So I ended up moving to New York because honestly, you can always make money in New York. New York's never gonna. I don't care. I mean, the world's gotta melt.
You can't make
And
money.
you're gonna be in a snow globe of so, and again, this isn't me greedy. This is me just hand to mouth, just making it every day by myself.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I went to New York and started, promoting and became a very successful promoter. But, it was always a grind, and it was always me thinking about myself and me thinking about the future. And if you're not able to step outside of yourself and say, and this is why people have managers and agents, fair enough.
Mhm.
I don't want to stunt myself because I'm always interested to talk to managers and agents, but I basically represent myself. I have two agents where I send proposals to, but it's just been so long. I've learned. So whether or not, and I'm just going to give a little bit of information, good information here,
Mhm.
whether or not you want an agent or you have a manager agent, learn your brand, build your brand, and take advice when you're a little bit developed. But if you're not thinking outside of the box and you're before you're agented or before you have a manager and you get offered something and you know that we're in some sort of economic crisis, wait. that's just a little bit of information because, I don't know if who I'm talking to are very young or I'm in my 30s or, whether older. But one thing I will tell young people is that the world is going to change around you.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be able to go with it. And you're going to watch economic ups and downs as you get older and older. You know what I'm saying? And so how did I have that understanding as a young person? I don't know, by the grace of God.
Yeah, that's what's up, my creatives. Jordan, I really, really, really don't want to cut it short, but we definitely got to get going. But nonetheless, we should know about you. Let my creatives know where to follow you at. Where should we look for you? More articles and everything of that magnitude.
Yeah, Jordannah Elizabeth, Jordannah. Just, honestly, I would say do a search. Just do a Google search. My articles kind of pop up within the search, and you can kind of find out more about me that way. I do have a website, jewriting.com. My Insta is Jordannah Elizabeth. My Facebook is Jordannah E, and my Twitter is @LoveJordannah. So find me. I'd love to hear from you. Love to kick it. Love to talk.
All right, my creatives, you know what's up. You know what it is, man. This is another edition of Cuts, episode 105 of season 5. Nonetheless, my creatives, you know where to follow me at. Your neighborhood Ruger Sprayer. Follow me on Instagram @Reem'o Meerak_, as well as Twitter @Reem'o Meerak. Also hit the website, reem'omeerak.com. If you want to be a guest on this podcast, please send a request to cutspodcast1@gmail.com. And also, too, music creatives, you need your music reviewed. Hit up the Ruger Sprayer. Hit me up on groover.co. See my profile, Reem'o Meerak. Dwing. I review your music. And that's about it, man. You know what's up. You know what it is. You know where we're going with this, my creators. That's PTC. You know the hashtag. Pound that chest. Come on, man. You know what it is. It's the 2-up. That means peace. We out of here. You already know. It's yours truly, Reem'o Meerak, a.k.a. Chef Reem'o. Yeah, you hear it Cuts. You know what the Cuts stand for. Culture, urban, technology, and sports. Now, for the latest features, content, interviews, and more, click that subscribe button. Come on, man!